Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to discuss the Microsoft Office Word 2019. The name again is Mark Atamensa, and I'll be taking you through this particular topic of Moodle. Right. Microsoft Office comes as a package. We call it the Microsoft Office Suite. It comprises a word processor, which is the Word, and then we have the presentation solution, which we refer to as the PowerPoint, and then we have the spreadsheet, which is called the Excel. There are other products like the Outlook and then the Access. The time may not permit us to discuss most of these, but they are all very useful tools. We are going to narrow down the scope on the respective components of the suite and portions that will be relevant to your journey as far as your academic journey is concerned, your assignments, your final year project work, etc., etc. So they will come in really handy, and that is why it's strategically happening in your very first semester in the university as far as the department is concerned. So welcome aboard. We'll hit the nail on the head and then make the necessary progress. So we're going to talk about creating documents with Word 2019. The outline for this session is pretty simple. We are going to try to understand the word processing software as a software on its own, explore the Word window. How do we even start a document? How do we save a document? How do we select a document? Format text using mini toolbars and ribbons, and actually view and navigate around a document. So it's not going to be anything complicated. It's going to be pretty straightforward and quick. Okay, so we are going to use the Microsoft Office Word 2019 or the Office 365. Every student is going to be assigned a license. Also, all you need to do is download the application. When I give you the license, you would use that to obtain your licensed copy so that we'll all be on the same page. Nevertheless, if you are using Office 2013, we are in Office 2016, the difference wouldn't be so much. And so you take notice of the portions that we are going to discuss and how useful they will be to you to accomplish the tasks that will be presented to you. There will be quizzes, there will be assignments, there will be capstone projects per each model that will be accomplished. Okay, right. So this is going to be our objectives. We'll also talk about cut and paste text, copy and paste text, formatting with fonts, setting document margins, adding bullets and numbering, and then inserting a graphic and applying a theme. Is going to be useful. Now, we will say that a word processing program is a software that basically allows you to enter, edit, and format text and graphics. Okay, so the files that you create using Microsoft Word is what referred to as documents. There are several versions of word processing softwares. We can talk about the Google Docs, as most of you know. We can make mention of Polaris Office, LibreOffice, which runs on the Linux operating system, and several others that we can make mention of. Okay, they have something in common. As long as they allow you to edit and format text and graphics, these features is common across all of them. It's a word processing program, and we are focusing now on Microsoft Word. Okay, and so if you create any document with Microsoft Word, we refer to that as a document. If you create any document with Google Docs, we call it a document, etc. in that particular sequence. So your document will look something like this, and it's nothing too complicated. You have a document that has headers, it has some lines, it has some graphics. You see all these relevant portions of a document that makes it complete. So at the end of the lesson, you should be in the position to produce something similar to what you see right here, something similar with ease without any particular constraints. Okay, so what do we do before we start even using the Microsoft Word? Well, first, you don't just open it and start typing. You need to have a plan. Okay, so you need to plan the document before you create it. And so the first thing you need to do is to make sure that You identify the message you want to convey. It's very essential. You identify the audience for your document, and then identify the elements such as tables or charts you want to include. And these are fundamental to whatever you may want to do in your Microsoft Word. And the purpose of the audience for the document must be at the back of your mind. You do not ignore that particular point. The purpose and then the audience of the document that you have put together or to design. That you determine that determines the design of the document. So these two things are very essential: the purpose and then the audience for the document. So you don't joke with that. So a typical Microsoft Word window will look something like this. And at this point, I will execute the application from my PC so that we can work together in this. Okay, so if you are running on Windows 10, you go to your Start button. If it is installed, you can just type quickly Word, and it will be the first item that will pop up. And then all you do is just click, and it will run and open for you. Right, so this is the first thing you see. You have what referred to as the backstage view. It's telling me good evening, and then my name is mentioned here. And so when you obtain your license, just as you see my license here, you also have something similar. Okay, so when you open a new document, like as you see on your display, we have several features. We have the quick access toolbar. You see we have the save button here, undo, and then redo buttons, repeat, as you are using currently. This is well referred to as the quick access toolbar. We have the title bar. We have the document name. Default name is document 1, which can also be changed or altered. So it's located on the title bar where we have this. We have the ribbon, the area between where this cursor is to this very end here, which is hiding behind the logo, is what referred to as the ribbon. And the ribbon is divided into different groups. So we have the clipboard group, the fonts group, the paragraph group, the styles group, editing, Acrobat. You may not have this in yours. Don't worry about it. It's a plugin. You may not have Grammarly in yours as well. And that is also another plugin. So don't worry when you have a few differences between our applications. So these are the groups. The groups have their respective names. These tabs enable you to access different tools for different purposes. So we have what referred to as the file tabs. So this is the file tab, which takes you to the backstage view. We have the home tab, which is the most active view. Any active view will have a unique indicator. In this case, it is a blue underlined symbol, as you can see, as and when I move the cursor there. We have the insert tab, the draw tab, the design tab, the layout tab, references, etc., etc. The active tab is that which is underlined. Okay, so you take notice of that as well, and that is very, very important. This indicator you see here is what referred to as the I-beam. This indicator you see here is what referred to as the I-beam, as it is blinking right over there. Right, you take notice of that. Now this section you see here is the ruler of the page. We have the horizontal ruler and we have the vertical ruler as well. So you take notice of that. So this I-beam indicates the insertion point from where we can make our first inputs and then have content provided for us. So that is where we can start typing. Without it, you can't start typing from anywhere else. You can't start typing from this side of the screen or any point. So you have the I-beam, which is what the cursor is showing right now where I am. You can see the I with the cross sign at the top. And then this blinking position is the insertion point. You take notice of that. Now this region between this edge to this edge is what referred to as the document window. So you take notice of that document window. Another feature we need to take notice of is the scroll bar, enabling you to scroll up and down within the window. And I'll be using these terms, so you need to just acquaint yourself with it and adjust. The status bar would display every event that is primarily happening on your application as far as this window is concerned. So you notice that we are on page 1 of 1. We have 0 words, and the English here is United States. So if I have some content already put in there, you will notice that the words change to 239 words. So yeah, pretty much that. And then we have various outlines by default that are here. We have the reading mode, we have the print layout mode, and then we have the web page mode of the same content that we always see. The default is the print layout mode that we have. You can also have the focus mode so that you are not distracted by anything, the ribbons, etc., etc., as you might have noticed. And of course, you can switch back from that and have your normal window at display. The last thing I will talk about is the zoom level. So you can zoom out and zoom in to have a good view of your document as and how you want. The default is the center of it, and that is located here. So we have this, we call this the zoom control, and the bar is used to determine the level of the display we may be interested in. So basically, this is just about the window of the Microsoft Office Word. I've made mention of all the portions and then defined the features, and that is basically that. You find all of this and more outlined in the key texts, and so that shouldn't be a problem for you. Now, another thing that I would want to draw your attention to here has to do with the common mouse pointers. So I indicated the I-beam, right? So the insertion point where the IB pointer, you see the line right up there with the line, the vertical line with the crossbars at both ends is what we refer to as the I-beam, as you see over there. So in a nutshell, we say that you move the insertion point in a document or to the selection point. Then we have the click and type pointers, including left align and then center align. Whenever you see it, you're able to tell the alignment of the document or the text that will be contained on the document. And so you move the insertion point to a blank area of the document in the layout or the web view. You can also double click with the click and type pointer, automatically will apply the paragraph formatting that you have selected. There are various features that we can come across. We can talk of the selection pointer. Selection pointer, as you can see over there, anytime you see it that way, you have the ability to select any item or object on the window. You have the right pointing arrow, which will imply that you want to select a line or lines of text that appears, and I'll be performing some of these things for you to see. We have the hand pointer, look out for it, and then we have the hide white space pointer, and then the show white space pointer. So it's really quite simple. If you have a normal document like we see here, this is a memo. So if you are writing a memo, we have what we refer to as the memo title. There are some blank lines indicated, and then we have the memo header before the actual message text that wraps the next line to text wraps to the next line. And the emphasis here is that this situation may be different in your setting, but pretty much that is it. It's nothing too complicated, right? So that is just basically it. We have some automatic features that appear as you type in Microsoft Word. You can have an autocomplete. All of these are default. Autocorrect spelling and grammar. Autocomplete is a screen tip that will suggest text to insert. So it appears as you type, and then we have a small blue box that will also enable you autocorrect a few things. We'll demonstrate all of these things as we make progress and how you deal with them. And anytime you see the red wavy line under a word, it indicates that there's a possible misspelling or there could be some repeated word, and so on and so forth. So you pay attention to the various colors and the indicators. Don't just read this literally, but experience it so that you can adjust to it. This whole course has to do with experience, experience, and experience. Practice, 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 and that is very, very essential. So you have to adjust to all of that. So if you want to store a document permanently, you save a document, and to store it, you go to the file. So by way of demonstration, if we want to store this file, we can come all the way here, select on the file tab, and then you will see your save button right here, and you select it. Define the directory you want to save the file to, and it will go there. If it's an existing file, you want to give it a unique label, then you go to save as and choose whatever you want. So when you save a file, you give it a name, and we call this a file name, and then indicate the location where you wish to store it. That is also very important for you to take notice of. Okay, so when you click on the save, you browse to a particular location, and then you provide a name for the document, and you hit on the save button, and that is all. So this dialog box will pop up asking you to save as if it is the first time the document is being saved. If it's an existing one, you will need to go to save as, because if you click save, it will not give you the opportunity to change the name. There are several ways to approach this, so that is not going to be a problem. Right. So yes, pretty much these few things that I want to draw our attention to. Yes. So the question is, how do we select a text? So I'm going to use this document as a demonstration, and I'll show you all the various forms of the text. Now you can drag over the texts. For example, I can drag over the texts and it will be selected. Okay, I can drag over the text. I click and hold my mouse. I left click, not right click. I left click, and then I drag it over, and then I have selected them. I've selected the text like that. Now you can also select a word by double clicking on the word. Double click. I don't know whether my microphone is picking my click on my mouse, but that is just it. So you just double click on the word, send the I-beam to the word, double click, and then it will select it. You can also select a line of text by just clicking in the margin of that particular line. Just click the margin of that particular line and it will select it. You can select the text. That is also possible. It's not anything difficult. If you can do triple click, now you notice that this is a paragraph. That is also another paragraph. So if you can triple click here, if you can do a triple click, it will select the paragraph for you. Triple click, you have to be a bit fast and consistent, and then you are sorted. You can actually also select a large block of text. Okay, so all you do is press and hold the shift key and click at it. So I can click here. You see the I-beam blinking over there. Let me zoom in a bit. You see it blinking right over there. I can come all the way here holding the shift key on my keyboard and then select themes, and it will select the entire area for me. You click and hold. You can also select the entire document by using the Ctrl+A on your keyboard, and it will deliver the same result for you. So it's nothing too complicated and too difficult to adapt. Great. Right, so we have the mini toolbar as well. So you notice that when I double click on document, for example, there is a replica version of the items you see over here, Calibra and a few other things. When I select any new word here, I have the same font type, font size, and all the other few of the tools under the font appears over here. I have the styles group right here next to me. Comment is coming all the way from the references tab and the review tab, joining the rest of the tools we have here. So we call this the mini toolbar. The mini toolbar. Okay, so most of the commonly used text and paragraph formatting tools are contained in the mini toolbar, and you need to take notice of that as well, because it is very, very important. The items on the mini toolbar are very simple and straightforward to acquaint yourself with. We have the font text, the font size, the trying to make a text larger, making it smaller. So you identify the button, appropriate button, and then use that button to do what you need to do. Right, so that is also very important. You take notice of that keenly. I've already demonstrated the zoom feature for you, so we can zoom in and zoom out using that feature. You can use the plus button and then the minus button to deliver on this. I think my image has covered it, but I'm sure you can figure something out somehow, or I can just drag it over here so that you can see how it works. This is the zoom control. You zoom in and you zoom out. Use the minus button and then the plus button to get the same results. Great. Beautiful. Right, so as I indicated, when you select the file tab, it takes you to the backstage of the document, and this is where we have, if you come to the information of the file, we have the size of the file. The hotel is not saved yet. Until it is saved, we don't know the size yet. It expands as you provide content and objects. The words is indicated, total editing time, the title, comments, etc., etc. The author is bearing my name because this machine holds every identity as far as I'm concerned. So we call it the title property, or the whole thing here. This one is just the title of the property, and the entire portion here is what we refer to as the document property. And this may differ from PC to PC, but that is for your information, right? Every document actually has it. We have several layout views. I've already mentioned them to you, and I've demonstrated it to you, if you can recall. I don't know, maybe it's scrolled out of view. So we have the reading mode. We have the print layout by default. We have the web mode for every document. The options are just right down here. You can equally access them from the layout tab. So you see all the various options that are the view tab, the view tab. You see the read mode, you see the print layout mode, the web mode, and others like the outline and then the drafts mode. Okay, so each of them will determine the view of the document. Now you can also cut and paste a text, so I can select powerful, as you see here, and then cut it. When I undo this, another option is to hold the control key and add X. Hold it and add X, and it will cut the document. I can move anywhere I can move the insertion bar to any portion within the document, and then hold the control key and add V to paste the cut information. I can equally right click at the portion of the document where I want to paste the information, and then I'll right click and select the paste. Right from the home tab, you can also use the paste button under the clipboard group, and that will also make it happen. You can also drag and drop the information to wherever you want it to go. Just select it and drag, and then it will also find its way there. I guess you can see the blue underlined word. You remember what it meant? Remember? Right, I'm not going to say it. You can play back the video or read the text that will be accompanying this course, and you should be fine, pretty much. Okay, right, so there are several things we can do, as I've made mention of. There are some shortcuts you come across in the key text. For example, we can talk about Control X, as I made mention of, to cut, Control C to copy the text, Control V to paste, Control A to select all the text in the document, and then Control S will be a quicker way to save your document. So pretty much this routine is nothing too complicated, right? Right. We have different format fonts. Fonts is actually a complete set of characters with the same typeface or design. So if I have a selected portion of this key text and I come to the font group, I can vary the view, as you can see as I navigate over the various font type options. This is what we refer to as the typeface. Typeface. Once you select it, you can equally adjust it from the what do you call it, the mini toolbar. All of these events are what referred to as the formatting tools. You are not necessarily deleting the text or anything. You are only adjusting their view. So this is how we format the font of a text. You can change the size of a font by selecting the font and then defining the size. As you can see, the changes that are happening before I even click on it. You can equally select the text and then use the mini toolbar font type to determine how you would want things to appear. That is also not a problem. Now, by default, your font looks black, but that is not the restriction. You can equally adjust the font color to suit your taste. You can equally select it and then leverage on the mini toolbar to perform any adjustments as far as color is concerned. So that is also quite straightforward and nothing too complicated. Right. So you will notice that the moment you select the drop down against the font color, we have a palette and then several options of colors to choose from. We call this the palette. Okay, this is where it has been borrowed from the same environment where these our artists also do their stuff. So you get used to this kind of routine. You can set the margins of your document. Now, if you want to, you notice that we have a gray section on the ruler at this section and a gray section of the ruler at this portion vertically. And you notice that the text you typed did not exceed this section, neither did it exceed beyond this section. These regions of the gray section is what referred to as the margins. The margins. And you can manipulate these margins manually by dragging from the ruler, or better still, you can go to the layout of the document and determine the margins from the page setup group, determining how the document should appear and which portion should form the margin. You can customize these too, and by making some adjustment to the margins, and this is something we may be using as we progress. This is just an introduction, getting to know the environment that we're dealing with. Right. Another thing we can talk about is the bullet. So if you want to format a bullet list, for example, I have these 3 items and I wish to bullet them. You come to the paragraph group. You have the bullet options, the numbers options, you have the multi-level list, etc. So you can use the bullet to determine the indentation and highlighting of certain portions of your text. So a bullet is actually a character, often a small circle or a square. The default is the small circle. As you can see, it appears before the items in the list, just so you can place emphasis on exactly what you want. Now you can insert graphics and other forms of images in your work. That is very possible. The interesting bit about Office 2013 and above, which includes this 365 and 2019, is that you can equally, all you need to do is go to the Insert tab. The Insert tab, and every tool you have there gives you opportunity to insert an object in one form or the other. So if I want to insert a graphic like a picture, I can come to the illustrations group, select this, where the picture is coming from, either from online stock images or from this very device, and it will fill the space I want it to. You navigate to the directory you are interested in and you are there. Once you set the graphic, you can adjust the view. So I can insert a stock image and that will load straight from the internet. If your internet is not fast, you may not have them popping up as quickly as you may want. So let me just pick one randomly. This I'm picking in real time. So I insert this graphic. Because I has highlighted that portion, it has replaced the text that formerly filled that portion. You can hold the edges and then adjust the view of the inserted graphic. There are several other customizing tools you can use to format the view, some of which we may talk about as we make progress, but in the meantime, we'll leave it there. Great. Now, we have themes for our work. A theme is actually a set of, how do we call it? It's a set of unified design elements, and this includes theme colors, fonts, for the body text, headings, etc., and effect graphics. Okay, so if you have a document like this, you can also change the entire theme of the whole document, and that has to do with the design section of the design tab. So when you come to the design tab, you have a lot of options here. The themes tab from here, as and when you pick the theme, you notice that you have the font type and everything adjusting to match a particular theme before you even click, and there are tons of them. You can also create your own theme and save that theme for later use. So basically, this is just the beginning of the main journey. This is just the beginning of the main journey. At least by now you should be able to create a document, and so we'll do our possible best to add on to what we have just done now. We'll focus more on editing and formatting documents, and then formatting text and graphics. Now, because this is supposed to be a reading assignment and you're supposed to go through ahead of any video publication, you are going to have the PDF contents of the full text, which you would have gotten if you purchased the book from Amazon or something, already compiled for you, and it will be your responsibility to go through exhaustively before even a video is published to add on to what you have read. And it's very important so that you can excel and sail through smoothly in your quizzes as required. And so there's no time to waste. Thank you for your attention, and see you in the next video.